All right, guys, it's Kyle Hunter here. Going to take a look at the Tuesday, January 24th slate. Very informal here. I'm just going to kind of look through these and give you my thoughts, leans. If you have any specific questions, you can ask them, and I'll try to cover that game. I'm going to try to keep this quick. I know your time's valuable. And like I said, no formal show or anything like that, just kind of my thoughts about the slate. Start out with Penn State and Rutgers. We see 6.5 or 7, with 128 being the total. I wanted to bet the under in this game. Not able to bet under 128. I think that's too low of a number to bet. My number was 127.5. I like Rutgers unders, especially at the rack. Really good home team at home court. I think 7 is a lot to lay, though, against a Penn State team that is pretty feisty. So I'm going to pass on that game altogether. Let's go down the slate here a little bit. Miami, Florida against Florida State. Florida State catching 3 or 3.5 points. Florida State started the season playing so poorly. Let's take a look here at the Florida State breakdown. If you look at Florida State, they lost to Stetson, Troy, Siena, Stanford at the beginning of the season. It's just some terrible losses. They've definitely been playing better here of late. This is a Florida State team that's upside is much higher than their 7-13 record would look. I think a money line shot here on Florida State isn't the worst idea, plus 140. That's something that I would at least consider. So Florida State is my lean in that game. 3 or 3.5. You're not getting a great value because the odds makers are definitely shading this toward Florida State. You see Ken Palm is 6. So I kind of like Florida State on the money line in that game, and a game that I think could go either way, but you're getting plus 140 on a money line. I don't think that's a bad way to look. So Ohio State, Illinois, everybody knows I'm a Buckeyes fan. Buckeyes have been really inconsistent this year. They can't come up with defensive stops when they need them most. Illinois -4 would be my lean in that game. I also think the over could be a decent look, but it's been bet up here a couple points. Let's look at let's go to Murray State and Southern Illinois. This is a game that I was very close to playing myself. This was almost a client play last night. It was 132. Now it's down to 130.5 for 130. I think that this Southern Illinois team is so good at dictating tempo and playing their defensive style. That this is the Salukis here of Southern Illinois. You see they're 323rd in tempo, 37th defensively. This is a Southern Illinois team that is holding teams to a very low point total very frequently, 57, 45, 49, 57, 57, all here just in the last month. I think Southern Illinois can hold Murray State down. We just saw them play late December, and it was 120. So I still do have a pretty strong lean to the under in that game. As we go down the slate here, Fresno State and Boise State. This is one that I'm kind of interested in. This total has been bet up. Let's just take a look at where this one has been here. This one started 124.5. It's gone up to 127.5. Pretty big jump there. And this total, my number is 125. I lean the under. I think the way I like this one the best is probably taking Fresno State team total under. I think Boise is a pretty good team. Let's take a look at Boise's setup here for so far this season. Boise State, Rice is a good coach. I think he is a very good defensive coach. Boise's been consistently very good defensively the last few years. The Broncos are 9th in defensive efficiency this year, 7th in defensive rebounding percentage. They're very good at not giving opponents second chances every single year. They've done a great job of that again so far this year. I think that's really important when you're looking to play a low total, that the other team doesn't get a lot of shots, a lot of second chances. Fresno State offensively, they lost Robinson from last year. You see Robinson was their go-to guy, 7-footer. Now they don't have him. Offensively, 269th in effective field goal percentage offense. This Fresno State team, not very good offensively. They only put up 48 points at home against Air Force, 54 on the road against Utah State, even 58 against a pretty weak Wyoming team, 53 at home against Sacramento State. So I think Fresno State team total under is a decent look, and I think I'll bet that one for at least something myself. I would like to get under 58, 57.5, I think is worth a small bet as well. So as we look down here, the slate a little bit more, are there any games that kind of stand out? North Carolina and Syracuse. I think North Carolina was a bit undervalued. I don't know that they are anymore. This is a North Carolina team that still has a very high upside. Consistency has been a problem for them, but we will see if they keep looking better here as we go throughout the course of the season. Oklahoma State and Texas, I think, is a really difficult game to bet because of Texas's inconsistency. I don't really know what Texas will be now with the new coach. I'd like to give them a couple more games before I want to get involved on a Texas game. One more game I want to call to attention here real quick is Eastern Michigan and Toledo. We see Toledo and Eastern Michigan 164.5. This one was 169 on the open. Guys, if you see a 169 on the open, it's always going to get bet down. People are not going to take that high of a number over initially. So if you like the over, you want to wait for it to come down and bet that later on when it comes into the price range. So keep that in mind. Same thing happens with low numbers. Usually if you get like a 115 or a 118 or something, it's going to get bet up. If you like the under, you wait, you bet it under later on the number. So there's a look at a few games that I was considering or looking at here tonight for January 24th, Tuesday. I'll try to do some more of these kind of informal looks through the slate, and they would obviously be a little bit more lengthy when there's more games. But if you guys like this kind of content, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the show. I appreciate it. Everybody have a great day.